Yo, what is going on, guys? Welcome to today's video. This is going to be for October and a little bit of November. As you guys can see, we're just going to go through and take a look at the rest of the pumpkins in mid-October. I was able to carve some of these guys up. These smaller ornamental ones, they ended up stopping their growth. We're not getting enough sunlight as we're going into fall/winter, so it's going to be very slow, so I just took those guys out. But we still have some leaves on our peach trees, which are soon going to fall off. I may end up selling these next year as they continue to grow. You can see the same thing with our tomato plant. It is green, but it's not as vibrant or dark. It is still producing tomatoes, but it doesn't have enough nutrients and it doesn't have enough light. So these most likely aren't going to ripen up the way I want them to, but I will start to harvest some of those tomatoes. This is the avocado trees. After I took off the shade cloth, you can see some of the leaves are starting to fall off and die back. But these avocados are really resilient. They either send up another shoot or they grow leaves back pretty quick, which is nice. Here's another example of one that has some new leaves starting from the top. And then jalapenos. We're still getting jalapenos, or at least we were back in October. And so I am going to go ahead and harvest the rest of these peppers, because what we're going to end up doing is just pruning all these stuff, even the bell peppers. We're going to end up pruning these back and just getting these guys to be ready to be overwintered. And you can see that on these leaves there are some whitefly eggs, which is another reason why I want to just prune these peppers back and make sure that we get rid of all of these pests, so that we have a good start on these peppers for the next season. And that is a reason why we are going to overwinter them. We'll get a head start so that we won't have to go from seedlings or transplants, and it's just going to be really nice. And also it'll clear up some space around the artichoke and the pomegranates down below. But as you guys can see, we did get a ton of jalapenos. In the previous videos, I have shown just how many we've gotten, and I think it's always nice to show every video just the harvest that I'm getting, so that people understand you can get so many peppers from just a few plants. I only have about 5 to 6 jalapeno plants, and we've easily harvested about 300 to 400 jalapenos, and some of them do get damaged. That's why it's nice to have multiple plants. But I'm just going to go ahead and speed up through some of this footage, and then you guys can see just how many jalapenos we were picking from this one plant. And as we pick these jalapenos, I'm going to go ahead and prune off a lot of these main branches, so that we have a small little scaffold or small skeleton of what used to be the pepper plant. And as we harvest these, I'll take all these branches and I'll throw those into the compost. But like I said, we have a ton of peppers all around the garden. So as we prune back these main branches, throw them into the compost, they're going to help. They're going to break down and provide nutrients for the next season when we go into spring. So that's what I like doing as we go into the fall and the winter. That's kind of the process for me, is just going through all my plants, getting all the old, dead, or dying vegetation, throwing it in the compost, because I know some people like to throw away all their cuttings into green waste, and that gets hauled off. But what I like to do in the fall is, as we have all these leaves, all this cut material, we can just take all that stuff, throw in the compost, and have some good nutrition for next season. But you guys can see, look at these peppers, really shiny, dark in color, pretty decent size. And this is all the cuttings that I have from all these pepper plants. So what I'll do now is I'll go ahead and just take all that stuff and throw it in the compost, like I said. And then continuing on, we still have a couple more flowers on some of these plants, and some of these still have peppers, so I am going to give these guys a little bit of a chance to get a little bit bigger. But like I said, I'm kind of over it at this point. We've had so many peppers, so most likely within the next 2 weeks, I will go ahead and actually just cut these back. And some of the plants that I've actually cut back to be overwintered have already produced more little side shoots with flowers. And I mean, you can see how prolific this little pepper plant is. It has at least 7 to 8 peppers just in like a 5-inch radius, which is kind of crazy. But I am excited to have some of these for next year. Going into our seed starting area, we have some red kale, some collards, some broccoli, and I believe some cauliflower. And there is some grass seed that got mixed in just from cutting the lawn. But what I'll do is I'll take all these plants, I'll put them in these bigger pots, and then I'll let those be watered by the drip irrigation or by a rainwater collector as we go through the fall, which is really nice. So we'll see how that goes. So for these bigger containers, we're just going to go ahead and transplant a lot of this kale, the broccoli, and all those other plants, and kind of just mix in the soil. And then when we're done, this is what it looks like. Just a little tiny plant in the middle, growing. Some of these are a little leggy, so they are going to grow kind of weird. But the biggest issue I have is the little pill bugs. The pill bugs will usually eat the leaves that are touching the soil, so I kind of try to spread these plants out just to give them a chance. But that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a like and comment down below.